Well, good evening, everybody. Nice to see so many of you here this evening at the Buddhist Society's basic meditation class. But I think we're all very disappointed that Ajahn, we can't see Ajahn Barry, Subhaddo tonight. Nobody's more disappointed than me, but about 40 minutes ago, I got a message from him to say that his internet had completely gone down and he couldn't get an engineer to fix it. And sort of the significant thing is this, that he is actually, would not just be zooming in from Spain, but he does live in a nice cave in Spain. And I've just been delighted over the years he's been coming to the class, how well it's all worked. But anyway, this evening it hasn't. So apologies from him and indeed from me that he's not here, but the class must go on and it will do. So, if you haven't been to the class before, here's pretty much what we'll do. Give a bit of guidance for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, while we sit meditation. I might think of something to say for 5-10 minutes. After that, we'll sit again and we'll have questions and discussion and all of that sort of thing. And I should say, when it comes to questions, we'll obviously ask Wongdu, who's kindly pulling the IT strings this evening, to unmute us all so we can ask a question in the normal way. Or there's a chat box on my screen. Yes, there it is. And if anybody in between times or at the end wants to send a question or a comment by chat, please do so. That would be great. I'll tell you what, you could do me a real favor. If anybody is having any problems with the sound, with me, am I speaking, am I coming across as being too quiet, too loud? Because over the last few weeks, we've had both actually. So look, right now, as I'm sort of saying hello and introducing the class and all the rest of it, if you've got any sort of comments like too loud, or not loud enough, please just pop them through by chat. And I can't promise to do anything, but I will try. Okay, let's do a bit of practice. Okay, so a couple of people said I'm a bit low, and somebody else has said it sounds okay. I'll do my very best. I'll try and speak up. I'll try and, it's like one of the things I like about a meditation class is meditating myself, and you tend to get a bit quiet as you do this. But I'm trying to see what I can do. Get a bit closer to the mic, perhaps. So anyway, we'll try this. Audio is fine from somebody else. That's super. Okay, I've got the general idea. I suppose the theme is mindfulness. And mindfulness means alertness and relaxation. I think not enough over the years, not enough attention has been paid to the kind of the relaxation side of this practice. We all know that to be alert, to be observant, you need to sit up, straight-ish, if possible, but perhaps people don't also emphasize the fact that it's important to be at ease. So mindfulness to me is all about, noticing the way things are. And by that, I mean just noticing whatever is coming into consciousness right now. Right now, everybody's conscious. Everybody's conscious here right now. And that means that even if we're sitting with our eyes closed, you're seeing your back of the eyelids, right? Or you're hearing sounds like me. Sometimes in Argentina, I'm coming through a bit low. Thank you for that message. You're hearing sounds. And above all, we've got physical sensations. We're all sitting on something and our hands are touching something. And of course, there'll be, if we've lit a stick of incense, gosh, in my little study, it would be, I'd be coughing. But if you're in a nice open, airy space, you light some incense, you'll be noticing the scent of the incense. And we'll be thinking. All senses are fully operational tonight. And we notice that. We don't ignore that. Mindfulness isn't blanking out. It's just noticing what's going on, what's coming into the mind. To notice, we have to be alert. And that's why, a sort of upright posture helps. But the other component of mindfulness, as well as noticing, is the ability to let go, not to attach. If we've studied anything of the Buddha's teachings at all, we know that attachment is a problem, actually. Attachment is a problem. And, keeps us trapped in samsara, keeps the wheel turning around, keeps us making the same sort of habitual responses to life, for example, which may not be helpful. So it's important to notice these habits, but let go of them. But it's not a battle. It involves no judgment. None of this involves a judgment. It's like nature study. It's like nature study, isn't it? You notice what's going on. We notice our own nature. That's interesting. And we let go of it. The difficult thing is letting go of it. That's why a meditation object is so important, because there's something out there called the meditation object. It might be the breath. It might be the sound of silence. It might be a mantra. It might be sensations in the body, to which we turn our attention quite deliberately. We let go, you see, of, for example, thinking. We don't suppress thinking. We don't cling on to thinking. We don't get lost in thinking. We notice it's there. It's natural. We notice it. We don't cling to it. We let go. We redirect the attention elsewhere. So posture is an alert posture, upright, I guess, but also a relaxed posture, a comfortable posture. And I know that Ajahn Barry, when he leads the class, and I hope he'll be back this time at the end of the month, at the end of February, right? He usually spends the first few minutes scanning the body, noticing the body. And I like to do that too. I'm just noticing sensations in the body. How does the body feel? And when we notice sensations in the body, when we notice sensations in the body, we're aware of tension, uptightness, then you can let go, you can relax. So this body scan, which I'd like to encourage now, is very good for developing these qualities of noticing, but also not attaching. Noticing, but not attaching. And there again, for those of us who have sort of read a bit about the Dharma, the Buddha's Dharma, they talk about the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And the first foundation of mindfulness is mindfulness of the body. So this is kind of quite a materialistic sort of practice, spiritual practice. Being aware of sensations in the body, not getting hung up on my opinion about the body, because that tends to be very sort of judgmental. It's overlaying raw sensation with what I think about this thing. Does it look good enough or bad enough, old enough? All these issues around gender. When I'm sitting here with my eyes closed and you're there with your eyes closed, where does gender come into the story? I have to invent it, you see. I can do that very easily, by the way, and we all can. Or age. So I've now closed my eyes. Male, female, whatever. Age, old, young. All of that can be answered, but it involves a thought, not as just a sensation. We've parked the body. I suggest we close the eyelids, or at least half close them, half close the eyes, to help turn the attention inwards. Really, you see, what we're tuning into is the nature of the mind and the way the mind works. That's what this practice is all about. This liberating practice is all about, is noticing the way the mind works, and then noticing the true nature of the mind as well. That's interesting stuff. But not trying to figure it out just by direct observation, noticing and letting go. Bringing attention to the body. And let's first of all notice what I'd call the sensations you can't miss, the big sensations. Everybody's sitting on something, I guess. You could be doing standing meditation, but I think most of us are probably sitting on something, on the floor, on a cushion on the floor, on a meditation bench, on the floor, on a chair, on a cushion, on a chair, whatever. And there's that feeling of sitting, isn't there? The weight of the body, the heaviness of the body, the earth element. Talk about the 4 elements in Buddhism. The earth element is just heaviness. The point of contact between backside and cushion. You notice that? Okay. And where else do we notice significant physical sensations? I suspect everybody's touching the floor with their feet, their shins. Notice that. Notice touching sensations. The lower limbs, the feet. Okay. If we're sitting on the floor, unless we're very young and subtle, then we might notice a bit of a stretch around the knees. Just notice that. We're not elasticity. We're not. Okay. And there's the feeling of sitting. And then we're all breathing. And the first place I sort of notice my breath is actually in the abdomen. The pressure of the waistband. The rise and fall of the belly as we breathe in and out. That's a handy reference point. Now we put our hands somewhere out of the way. Now it doesn't matter whether we've got our hands in some beautiful mudra, or if we've just put them in our pockets, or if they're just plonked on our lap. There they are. They're out of the way. They don't have to do anything now. Right? And indeed, it's very interesting to note the tendency to move the hands around to do something. You don't have to do that. But what we must do is just notice awareness of sensations in the hands. Hands are very sensitive. They are touchy-feely. They're clammy, warm. One hand touching the other. And often there's a lot of tension in the shoulders. Bring the attention up to the shoulders. And this is where, if we notice that our shoulders are up around our ears, if we want to, you don't have to, but if we want to, you notice you're relaxed, and then you can breathe out, let go. These are large sensations. You can't miss the feeling of sitting on the floor, the feeling of sitting on a chair, our hands, our belly, our shoulders. Direct the attention to the top of the head. Is there any sensation there at all? Or not? Notice the feeling of no sensation, if that's the case. Or a little, what? I don't know. Run the attention around or over the scalp. Any sensations? To the forehead. Be very careful about, are we trying too hard? Is our brow furrowed up because we're striving after enlightenment, full and complete liberation from suffering by stressing ourselves out? We've lost the plot. Okay, relax if that's the case. Take the foot off the pedal, back off a bit. Sensations around the eyes. I think it's really interesting to sit with the eyes closed and notice the feeling of the eyelids touching, the liquidity of the eyes, feelings around the eyes. How are the ears? Anything there? Probably not. I don't know. What about the warmth of the room on the skin of the face? And then the nostrils, the breath on the nostrils. In breath, out breath. One of our favorite meditation objects is the rhythm of the breath. And around the nostrils, breathing in, breathing out. Or the rise and fall of the abdomen. Rising, falling. The lips touching. Any tension in the jaw? If there is, and we'd like to relax, we notice it's there, so we can relax. Lips are touching, the saliva in the mouth, tongue's touching something. Down to the neck, front of the neck, back of the neck, across the shoulders, across the collarbone, across the shoulders at the back. Running the attention down the left arm. Any sensations in the armpit? Round towards the elbow. Touch of our clothing on the arm. Down towards the left forearm and the wrist. The left hand. The palm of the hand is touching something. Maybe the back of the hand is touching something. And the fingers. Any sensation there? You know, if we were going to spend the entire evening doing this body scan, we could spend a lot of time just running attention around the fingers one by one. Palm of the hand, the wrist, up that left arm, the inside of the elbow, up the upper arm, the bicep, across the shoulders, down the right arm again, the right shoulder, the armpit, upper arm, clothing touching, right elbow, right forearm, right wrist, palm of the hand, back of the hand, warmth of the hand, clamminess of the hand, the fingers, up that right arm, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, across the back of the, between the shoulders at the back, and be aware of the spine, scapula on either side, shoulder blades on the side of the spine. If we're leaning back a little bit, or touching a chair, good idea to sit forward, but maybe not. Just no pressure there. Sensations in the back, down the spine, sides of the body. And when we get to the small of the back, if you want to just tuck it in a bit, that opens up the chest, down to the tailbone. Okay. Up to the top of the body, the trunk of the body at the front. Let's go to the front of the body. So there's the neck coming into the collarbone, across the shoulders at the front. And then be aware of the rib cage as we breathe in and out. And there again, really, we're aware of the touch of our clothing there. maybe refining our attention a little bit. If we do, you pick up the heartbeat, you pick up the pulse, the heartbeat. Dropping the attention into the belly. Again, the movement of the breath in the belly, into that pelvic area, all those organs in there. Maybe there's a bit of digestion going on, or anticipation of a meal. Just notice it. Groin to the hips, left hip. Any discomfort at all? Just notice that. That left leg, how's the left leg doing? Upper part of the left leg, the thigh, left knee, happy knee, tired knee, stressed knee. Just be aware of sensations in the knee. Down the shin, the left foot, the ankle, top of the foot. A lot of sensations there probably around the toes. And then the soles of the feet. If we're sitting on a chair, our feet are probably flat on the floor. You just notice the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, the heel, up the back of that left leg, across the Achilles, the calf, back of the knee, up the thigh, up to the hip, across the pelvic area, the right hip, like an anatomy lesson, isn't it? The right hip. Any sensations? Hope it's comfortable tonight. And then down the right leg, upper part of the right leg, to the right knee, and the kneecap, patella, down the shin, right shin, the right ankle, top of the right foot, toes there. Give them a little waggle if you want to, direct the attention. And underneath the foot, the ball of the foot, the arch, the heel, and then going up the back of that right leg, the calf, back of the knee, thigh. Complete body scan, isn't it? From head to toe, from toe to head. And we could use that actually as our meditation practice. Sweeping the attention very systematically from the top of the head to the toes to the top of the head. Very useful to do that. It's a nice, solid, kind of grounding sort of object. You know, the mind maybe wants to wander, but no, how's that left buttock doing? Just pressure. That sort of thing. Out of the head, into the body. And tuning into sensations in the body is really helpful because often it tells us a little bit in advance of what's going on in the mind. Butterflies in the stomach, oh, there's a bit of anxiety there. Relax. Heating up a bit and getting tense. Anger's developing. Notice that. This is nature study, just notice that. But let's just spend a few minutes. We can either just continue scanning the body or pick up a meditation object like the feeling of the breath, the rhythm of the breath on the nostrils, following the breath, the ordinary breath. Nothing fancy. We don't have to control it in any way. If you've got a bit of a cold, there's a bit of a snuffle there. No problem. Breathe through the mouth. Breathing in. Breathing out. And when the mind wanders, Well, that's what monkey minds do. That's all part of our nature as well, isn't it? But another part of our nature is to be the witness, the observer, the friendly naturalist. There we go again. Just thinking, remembering, planning, fantasizing. Notice that, let go, point the attention back to the breath. We're in charge. We can think deliberately or let go deliberately. Point the attention back to the feeling of the breath or whatever meditation object we use, the mantra, sound of silence or whatever. Breathing in, breathing out. And just notice why the breath is such a very valuable meditation object. And all these meditation objects are anchors. They don't, keep the attention locked in place. The anchor doesn't keep the boat locked in place. Boat bobs around, the mind, the attention will bob around. We catch the monkey mind wandering, we put it back on the breath. And when it rests on the breath is very calming. It's a very peaceful meditation object. It's a very peaceful anchor. It's calming. In breath, out breath. Because it's not stimulating in any way, it's quite difficult to maintain the attention on it. It's not exactly fun. It might be quite blissful, but it's not stimulating and fun, is it? Thinking can be quite fun. Even horrible thinking can be quite fun in a weird sort of way. We attach to that sort of thing. But attaching to the rhythm of the breath, and it's not about nailing our attention to the breath. That's terribly stressful. It's all about letting go of everything else. Redirecting the attention, learning to let go of the emotional stuff, the thinking, the sensations, the sounds. Just letting the attention rest on the rhythm of the breath. do please take this opportunity to wriggle around, have a stretch, stand up. I'd be amazed if most of us here had not heard of Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh died the other day. I read his obituary on Monday. He must have died over the weekend. And Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese, well, many things really, but a Vietnamese monk. He and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I suppose they're the two most celebrated Buddhist masters in the West. I haven't done anything like a Google search on how many books came out from Thich Nhat Hanh, but many, many, and I'm sure some of us here have read quite a few of them. As he was a Vietnamese monk, and at the time of the Vietnamese War, he was a peace activist trying to bring peace to both sides. And as a result, neither side was particularly welcoming to him, but he was very, very helpful, did the best he could, and particularly helping the Vietnamese boat people, who you may have heard of. And then he moved to the West and traveled a lot, but he was based at a monastery in southwest France. And in the obituary I read in the Guardian the other day, Thich Nhat Hanh brought mindfulness to the West. So here we are practicing mindfulness tonight. And he was one of many people, but a very celebrated person who brought mindfulness this way. And for Thich Nhat Hanh, mindfulness, as I understand it, meant directing one's attention to the present moment, whatever we're doing. This is a present moment practice. Whatever we're doing, just bring attention to it. That's all. And then, you see, Thich Nhat Hanh was quite a sort of a social activist as well. So he'd want us to bring that, mental calmness and clarity that we develop in this practice into practical compassionate action, helping make the world a better place. And so, he's known for what they call engaged Buddhism, which is compassionate action, you see. That's very interesting. So from, the Thich Nhat Hanh engaged Buddhism point of view, yes, meditation is important, but, it also perhaps enables us to do a bit of good in the world. And certainly that's what Thich Nhat Hanh himself tried to do. So that's engaged Buddhism, applying our mindfulness practice, our clarity of mind, our peace of mind, into compassionate action. And it's very interesting because he was described as a Vietnamese Zen monk, and everything I read, I even sat on a retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh many, many years ago. A lovely retreat. He's a lovely person. And everything I've read of his and that retreat was entirely consistent with Theravada Buddhism, which I guess is where I'm coming from. So it's like, do you want to call it Zen? Do you want to call it Theravada Buddhism? It doesn't matter what you call it. The practice is the same. Just remember that. This class is called Basic Meditation. This mindfulness thing is basic meditation. Now, it doesn't matter whether you strap a label on it, which says Theravada or Tibetan or Zen or whatever. This is it. This is basic Buddhist practice, developing calmness and clarity of mind, so that perhaps it helps us do a bit of good in the world. And I found it a very gentle sort of practice as well. And I want to emphasize that in just a moment. Let's resume meditation now. Let's get back in our meditation posture, compose the body. checking out the posture, alert, relaxed posture perhaps. Scanning the body very quickly, noticing any sensations that may have crept in. Have we got a bit uptight? Have we sort of collapsed a little bit? So we know what to do. We're getting uptight, just relax a little bit. There's nothing to get. Everything to let go of, but nothing to get. And then if we're a bit tired, or we slumped a bit, go energize things and sort of put a little bit more effort into holding the body upright. In that regard, everybody's their own teacher tonight. Well, we know where we're at. And then maybe, okay, the body's like this. How's the mood, the mind? Is it okay? And there again, we can practice whatever the mood is. That's interesting, isn't it? You can, lovely to practice with a nice, happy, clear, peaceful mind. Probably more useful, actually, to practice when the mind is all over the place, and we're feeling pretty dark or rather angry. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to practice when we think there's not a good opportunity to practice. That's just another opinion. It's just an opinion. I'm too angry to practice tonight, or I'm too stressed out to practice tonight. Not really? Okay. Well, why don't you just try and see what happens when we do? Try and see what happens when we do. Meditation might actually help. Believe it or not. Just do it. Picking up a meditation object. I'm going to use the breath, I think. There are many others. Breathing in, breathing out. Either the rise and fall of the abdomen or around the nostrils or the upper lip. Just a sensation of the breath. Unspectacular, not very stimulating unless we've got a cold or something and it's a bit iffy, a bit difficult. Breathing in, breathing out. Just following the breath. Not doing anything more than that. But then the monkey mind wants to do something. You just notice that. It's cute. But it's not a mistake. It just doesn't, it's just you notice that. The attention wanders. Bring it back in a friendly way, kind of firm and friendly. There you go, firm and friendly. Now, I'm not going to spend the next 5 minutes planning my holiday or my meal this evening. Back to the breath. Just let go. Take charge. Bring the attention back to the rhythm of the breath. And this is where Thich Nhat Hanh might come in, because he encouraged a very gentle practice. I mean, some of us think that Zen is kind of rigorous and hard. Well, Thich Nhat Hanh's take on Zen, Vietnamese Zen, it's very, very gentle. And he would help the practice by using verses or little gathas, little phrases, right? Mini poems almost, along with what we were doing. And actually, if you were at the class last week, I quite like mantras. Last week, I was encouraging us as we breathed in, may I be well, on the out breath, may others be well. May I be well, may others be well. A phrase of loving kindness, but just a mantra, another bit of a stabilizer that helps the anchor in the breath. Now, here's one from Thich Nhat Hanh, which gives you a good flavor for what his practice is like. And why I say it's a very kind of gentle version of Zen. Here it is. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And if we like this sort of mantra, we can just say it as we breathe in. I'm calming the body. Breathing out, I smile. And if we actually find ourselves smiling on the out breath, well, we could call that mouth yoga if we want to give it some fancy name. Breathing in, I calm the body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Smiling on the out breath. You notice this is assisting the relaxing aspect, the calming aspect of this meditation practice. perhaps notice that one of the advantages of using a mantra, some words, may I be well, may others be well. Breathing in, I calm the body. Breathing out, I smile. Irrespective of the words themselves, just words make it more difficult actually for thoughts to encroach. You might want to notice that you almost have to make an effort to think through the words. So we just stay with the words. Breathing in, I calm the body. Breathing out, I smile. I remember on the Thich Nhat Hanh retreat I went on all those years ago, there was a bell of mindfulness. And the bell of mindfulness, and don't forget, you see, Thich Nhat Hanh's idea of mindfulness is to bring the attention, direct your attention to the present moment, whatever we're doing. So I remember very clearly meal times. So unlike many retreats I've been on, you didn't have to keep silent at meal times. You could chat away, and lots of other lovely people there, and delicious food, and all of that. And then suddenly in the middle of the meal, and you'd find yourself bringing your attention into the present moment. It was very useful practice. So that's Thich Nhat Hanh. I really, really recommend everybody to read, as far as I'm concerned, any of his little books. They're very accessible, very nice, and they reflect this kind of gentle approach to practice. So Thich Nhat Hanh has got many, and most of the books are quite short and small. So there. Ajahn Barry, I very much hope, is going to have internet restored by his next scheduled visit, which is the 24th of February. And until then, I think our good friend Richard Bober is going to look after the class, because I am taking a little break for a few weeks. Right. Please, Wangdo, please unmute everybody. So feel free to ask any questions, make any comments, and use chat if you'd rather do that. And I hope the volume has been okay, even for Juanita in Argentina. I'm glad you're still there, but I hope I haven't been too silent. Anyway, please, any questions or comments? Anything at all? About practice, what we've just done, other sorts of Buddhist practice. Anything about Thich Nhat Hanh? I'm not an expert on Thich Nhat Hanh, but he's meant quite a lot to me. And what I do find interesting is this business about, the way, yes, he's got this label of Vietnamese Zen, and how it looks just like Theravada Buddhism to me. It's very interesting. These labels don't mean a bean, do they? Really, they're just practicing with different emphases, different styles of practice, but underneath it all, it's the same, really. Mindfulness is the same. Anyway, please ask questions or make comments or anything at all. And while you're thinking about questions, let me remind everybody that there are several other meditation classes which are open to the public. You just kind of turn up. You don't have to sign up to the Buddhist Society or anything like that. And if I remember correctly, there's a lunchtime meditation class on Mondays and on Fridays. And I think I'm sure there is one on most Sunday mornings as well. All you got to do is go to the Buddhist Society website and just poke around there, and you'll see what's on offer. And you can just drop in and drop out. That's great. It's very good. And then, of course, there are all the other regular classes on Buddhism. So I think on a Thursday night, there's a Tibetan Buddhist class. And the Theravadins meet, I think, on a Monday night. Um, apart from during the winter retreat, they're often taught, which is now, they're often taught by a nun from Amaravati Buddhist Monastery. And then there's a lot of Zen Buddhism going on through the Buddhist Society as well. So choose your flavor. Right. Gosh, here we go.
I had a question.
Yes, please. I'm just, keep going. Who was that?
Okay. Lindsay.
Okay. Oh, hi. Yeah.
Hi. Okay. I find that in my practice, I really love to use the body scan, and usually there's a lot of alertness and sensations that I'm able to tune into. And today I was finding more of what you were saying during it, of that sensation of nothing. And I found that interesting and odd, and wanted to ask if other people find that in their practice, or where some days they'll find just a lot of sensations or things to tune into, and other times it just feels quiet, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, one thing you've learned is everything's changing. Nothing's the same, is it?
Yeah.
Through this practice. That's a rumor has it that a core part of Buddha's teachings is impermanence. So things change. Sometimes you feel this way, sometimes you feel the other way. And it's particularly interesting with sensations in the body. I'm just sitting here now, and there are some sensations which are, pretty much there every time I sit meditation. I'm aware of me sitting on the cushion and sensations in the floor and all the rest of it, but my feet on the floor. But other times I might be a bit tense, or I might be noticing that it's getting on for mealtime. It's just the same with all the mental stuff as well. Sometimes you're feeling pretty calm and collected, and other times completely scatty, and that's right. And the essence of this practice of mindfulness is just, it's like this. It's like this. I've got it behind me on the shrine. I've got a little. I haven't even not wearing it, because you wouldn't see it. But Ajahn Subhaddo, who many of you may have heard of, has got a little, like a lapel badge. He's a monk, he hasn't got a lapel, but anyway, the little badge, and it just says, it's like this. It's a core teaching. It's like this. That's the essence of this practice. It's like this, just like this. This is like Thich Nhat Hanh saying, just directing your attention to the present moment. The present moment is like it is. It's like and it's like it is for you. And often it's something different, and it does stick around. It comes and it goes. It's like that. And we're taking the position, it's like it was stepping back from it. So this is all the things that come and go, all the sensations and sounds and thoughts and this and that and the other. It's all stuff in the mind. It comes into the mind. It's contents of the mind. And maybe the one thing we learn when we do this practice for a while, and don't ask me what a while is, we do this practice for a while, we learn as much about the nature of the mind, the true nature of the mind, as we do with all these impermanent, contents which come through the mind. Even with something like sensations in the body. One moment you're aware of an itch, the next moment your nose is a bit iffy, sniffy, and then your knees a bit on, ping, 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 massive sensations. But all this is taking place within this open, spacious, non-judgmental mind. The mind contains it all. And I think one thing we've become aware of with this practice, is all the stuff that's going on in the mind, but it's going on in the mind. Oh, that's where it's all. That's the important bit. It's the mind as much as the contents of the mind. So there you go. Look, let me pick up a few of these. I've got some messages coming through in the chat. Oh, that's really nice. Because Andy said, thanks for, acknowledging Thich Nhat Hanh, because he, I'm quoting here, he's a true inspiration to all human beings, and not just Buddhists. And absolutely right. I think it's great. I think it's great. And other teachers have different opinions. It's really weird. I find this really, really weird. I suspect, I'm not an expert on all different traditions. But Thich Nhat Hanh's idea of Zen, as I feel it, right, is quite different from perhaps a more formal sort of Zen practice. And I can imagine some, other Zen tradition being, well, is this the real thing? And I certainly know of, as I say, I find everything I've seen of Thich Nhat Hanh entirely consistent with Theravada Buddhism. But equally, I'm well aware of the fact that some Theravadins might think, no, this is, it's not quite, it's a bit off. But that's okay. That means he's probably got it right, isn't it, really? He's probably got it right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Thich Nhat Hanh. And I think his life is a blessing to everybody. Can I pick up another one here? This is cute. This is a nice one. Okay, for many years, I found myself following a Buddhist teacher more than the teachings of the Buddha. Isn't that a nice? I like that sound. For many years, I found myself following a Buddhist teacher more than teachings of the Buddha. Have you any comments on the relationship, or one should have, between teacher and Buddha? Many thanks. Well, the ultimate teacher is the Buddha. That's the first thing. When in doubt, what's the Buddha have to say about this? Including, the Buddha within, actually. I mean, don't forget, and one thing I try and emphasize in this class is everybody here, how many people are here? All 23 of us still here. We're all our own individual teachers, right? We've all got our own common sense and we've all got our own wisdom. And the Buddha himself said, this is not about, what you might have read in a book or what about a teacher tells you or anything like that. Try it and see for yourself. If it seems to do what it says on the tin, it's probably right. Okay. And that sort of empirical approach to practice rather than a dogmatic approach, I mean, I think is very attractive to Westerners. Now, where do teachers come into this? I mean, certainly I'm, indebted to a whole stack of teachers. And although I don't know Thich Nhat Hanh personally, I never met him personally. Well, I sort of did in a way because I was one of 100 people in a retreat, but I had no close relationship to him. And many other people, teachers I know very well, and I respect, and I'm enormously grateful to them. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I'm enormously grateful to them. But I mean, the bottom line is, it's up to me. It's up to me. And the teachers I really admire are the ones who actually are not looking to recruit another fan. They're really not. So I mean, look, I find teachers are in this tradition, teachers are very, very helpful. In the Tibetan tradition, teachers are even more important. The guru is even more important. Yes, they are, from the point of view of that tradition. But I mean, it's like, it's the teachings of the Buddha that really matter. And there again, all teachers, it's like, how do I put this in a tactful sort of way? All teachers are human beings. It's as simple as that. And human beings are complicated people. And human beings have their good side and their less good side. And that's true of teachers as well. It's true of teachers as well. And that's not a criticism of teachers at all. It's just like saying, oh, they're human beings. And they're very helpful human beings. So I thank them for the help they're giving me. And it's like, if they've done something which I don't approve of, well, that's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. And I notice this sort of thing when you do metta practice. When you do metta practice, you're sending thoughts of wishes of well-being to all sentient beings. And you deliberately bringing to mind the people who've helped you. And they may be Buddhist teachers, and they may just be good friends and whatnot. And then when you bring your attention to somebody and you wish venerable so-and-so, or, your partner so-and-so, it's like, if you have a critical mind at all, you sort of, you bring to mind their good qualities, but then you think, but, it's that sort of thing. And, but you wish them well even so. You wish them well even so. I mean, the other thing is ethical behavior as well. I mean, over the years, there have been instances in which teachers have not behaved in a way, frankly, consistent with the Dharma. They're not. Oh, okay, then you would not want to go that way with them. You wouldn't. You wouldn't at all. So there again, everybody has to use their own wisdom about all of this. And you know, value teachers. As I say, I can't emphasize how grateful I feel towards my teachers. But if you're attached to a teacher is going to let you down. Why? You're going to die. Don't beat them up for that. Teachers are physically impermanent, right? As I say, I suppose if I had to pick out of the many teachers I most admire, I'm most grateful for, and Ajahn Sumedho. Ajahn Sumedho is 86, 87. Okay. End of story. I mean, you know, it's like, mustn't attach. But the best way of like expressing gratitude to what a teacher has given us is to, practice what they've told us. That's, oh, what a wonderful retreat I've been on. You get in the car and get on the M25 and forget all about it. It's not the idea at all. If you really appreciate, you do the practice. But do the practice bearing in mind that what the Buddha said. Does it actually kind of work? Or is it just a sort of act of faith? This is different. No, is it just blind faith? Or is it confidence, faith in the sense of confidence, of trying something? And yes, it appears to lead in that direction. And I hope that helps. It's like comments on the relationship one should have between a teacher and the Buddha. Well, as I say, the Buddha is the big one. And teachers can be extremely helpful. There are many memorial services being broadcast live on YouTube for him. Oh, look, this is good. I don't know whether you can see the chat that's coming my way, but some kind soul, Andy, has sent to me a link, and this is quite cool. Because I am technically a complete idiot, but if you can't see this, I'll tell you. Thich Nhat Hanh's monastery center, whatever, in France is called Plum Village, Plum Village. And if you go online to plumvillage.org, you will see a link to memorial services for Thich Nhat Hanh. Plum Village, all one word, plumvillage.org. That's very handy. Thank you very much for that. Are there any other comments or questions? I'm so glad that there are other fans of Thich Nhat Hanh here. And it's like that's a good point. You see, Thich Nhat Hanh, you could be absolutely devoted to Thich Nhat Hanh, and then he's dead. That's it. So what's the best way of expressing one's gratitude? It's in one's own practice, isn't it? When it's quite interesting. You go back to the Buddha. You go back to the Buddha, and there's the Buddha, and he's dying. He's dying, and the monastics there are all kind of, they're very sad because they know he's dying, And it's like, what do we do? What do we do? You're not going to be there. And he says something like, this is all a giant paraphrase, and he says something like, you don't need me. You've got the teachings, and if you're monastics, you've got the monastic rules. You don't need anything else. You got the teachings, just get on with it. You see, that's that sort of attitude. And that's important to remember. Any other questions or comments? I hope the volume, as I say, is been okay. Anything else I can help with? Well, if not, thank you for coming. May your internet connections be strong over the next few weeks. I'm just amazed that we haven't had this little glitch before with Ajahn Barry in Spain. I think it's heroic of him doing this. But in the age of Zoom, one of the great things about everybody using Zoom is we can, go to talks, have teachers and whatnot from all over the place. It's really absolutely wonderful. I think that's great. But anyway, there we go. Even internet connections are subject to impermanence. And can
Colin?
Hello. Barbara. Yes, hi, Barbara. Hello.
Hi. I was wondering if Ajahn Barry would like to come next week instead.
I don't know. I mean, I mean that's a good point. I don't know is the answer. I mean, all this cropped up at very short notice, actually. I'm not kidding you. It's like at 5:45. I mean, I knew potential problems, but at 5:45, I got the message from Spain saying he couldn't make it. I could drop him an email a bit. Well, of course, if I send him an email, he may not pick it up. But I could suggest that he might want to try and do it next week. Yes, that's an idea. I don't know what his commitments are, to tell you the truth. See, he always likes me to let him know when I'm when I'm inviting him to come, and he likes to know this in advance. So I came up with dates in January and February and March, and he needs to know that because he's got other commitments as well. But certainly, I mean, that's a good idea, and I will drop him a line and see if he's interested. Thank you for that suggestion, Barbara.
Thank you, Colin. And thank you for your class.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for Wongdu as well for making it all happen. And, stay safe, keep well, don't get into trouble, do a bit of meditation, be kind to yourselves, be kind to other people. Can't think of anything else, really. Take care. Good night.